not all inclusives have beaches.
Yeah.
I think the idea of hearing all-inclusive, you immediately think beachfront, bar on the beach, swim up pool, swim up bar, a ton of restaurants. And that's not always the case.
Right.
Just because it's all-inclusive doesn't mean that it has a ton of amenities. So you definitely want to know what you want from your property, whether it is restaurant options, bar options, a pool bar. Every all-inclusive resort doesn't have a pool bar.
Right.
So all of them aren't placed on a beach. You may have to go to like a cousin property to use their beach, or you may have to go to a public beach in some instances, depending on the destination. For instance, when we were in Cartagena, a lot of those properties, like the boutique hotel we stayed in, didn't sit on the beach, but you could go to the beach. It was around the corner.
And you made a good point where it's like the public beach access is a thing to circumvent the fact that the property doesn't have a direct beach. And so in some cases they will have like a complimentary shuttle that'll take you there, but in other cases they will say you go down the road, you make a left, and
That's
you should be there.
Yep.
So, but the funnier part to that is, but they will advertise a beach.
Yeah,
on
you'll
their
see on their website. Yeah. Hey y'all.
Hey y'all, hey. Welcome to another episode of Travel
Fly.
Sexy. I'm your co-host, Natasha Terrell, owner of 𝗕𝗲𝒃𝒂𝒗𝒆𝒍 International.
And I'm your co-host, Sincerely Jasmine, founders of Boss Babes Love Brunch.
Period. All right. This episode is for the lovers of the all-inclusive lifestyle.
Period.
But there's just so much that goes into
So many layers.
choosing the right all-inclusive, knowing what you're looking for. Like, you cannot just pick and pay and go. Unless you're working with us, then you can. But if you outside trying to do it on your own, this episode's for you, because this is all about what to know before choosing the right all-inclusive resort for your vacation. Okay? Because there's a lot of tips and things you need to know. So we're really basically breaking it down as a travel advisor today.
Yes.
The things we look for, the things we keep in mind, the things and questions we ask our suppliers, so that you can get the best vacation. So that's what our episode is today. But of course, before we jump into all of that, a little bit of gotta smell from our inbox to yours. What is going on in the world of travel, Jazz?
Yes, so great news. Not as much for us, but for the kiddies. So 18 and under, you now qualify for free global entry.
That is some major news.
I thought that was so cool.
Like, major key.
Come on. Anything free is for me. But again, this one's not for me. This is for the 18 and under. But I think it's great for the parents. So basically, if you are a parent of a kid, anybody under 18, they are able to get free global entry as long as you have global entry or if you're applying for a global entry.
Yeah. So that just really changes the airport game.
Yes.
Because
you don't got to leave your kids no more.
you know, and I'm going to tell you like this. I'm leaving. I'm not waiting. I don't care if I birthed you.
We know, Tosh. We know.
So now everybody wins. Thank you, Department of Homeland Security.
That is awesome, though. I mean, we know that they recently changed the prices. So for them to add that little clause in, like, the kids can come for free, that's nice.
And it's really a great benefit to families, because they're truly, we did some research on it. We looked at like the features and the benefits, and it really is geared toward families. They are capping the pricing. It sounds like it's like for instance, a family of 4. If it's 2 adults and 2 kids, you're just paying $240 for all 4 of your people. You know, so the 2 adults, of course, is $120 per person for the application, but your kids are free, and it's 18 years or younger.
Yeah, so that's them teenagers too.
Yes, and that matters.
It does.
That really matters. So this is like really epic news. If you were considering global entry, or if you're currently in the process of it, definitely reach out and see if you can, add your child. So that way, again, upon your return from the U.S. or to the U.S., you can go through that expedited screening line and get back into the country a little bit faster.
Yeah, because them kids be cranky after that trip. They ready to go.
They
so
do.
Let's get them through customs and home.
Yes, yeah, this is great. I'm very excited about this, and I got to figure out how to get the kids set up.
Okay.
Yes. Because this is going to be great.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. So definitely look into it. Of course, we'll drop the information in the show notes so you can have more research. But this is great. Like, yet another reason why you need to have global entry.
No excuses.
There's really no excuses at this point.
Yeah.
Stop. Just go. And of course, when you're taking your children on those all-inclusive vacations,
to them family-friendly, all-inclusive,
you know, then on your way back, you got the global entry. Everybody, boom! This episode is set up for you for success.
Come on.
So let's jump into today's topic, because choosing these all-inclusives, they're not all created equal.
Oh, no. And there's so many options. Like, just thinking Mexico and the Caribbean alone, there is a plethora of all-inclusive options.
I mean, Mexico's the king of
literally,
all-inclusives.
like hundreds, thousands. How do you know which one to choose?
Yeah. So hopefully these little tips will help you narrow down your search should you be the individual who, for whatever reason, decides you don't want to book with us. Because, we should be booking your travel. But I digress. First things first. And y'all know we said it before. We're going to say it again. We're going to keep saying it because y'all going to keep asking us. The USA is not where you're fitting to find your all-inclusives, guys.
That includes Puerto Rico.
That really heavy on it includes the Puerto Rico and other territories. Yes. It's just not a thing. Like, trust me, we have searched high, low, left, and right in Hawaii, in Puerto Rico, in St. John, in St.
Thomas, all of them.
Baby.
I feel you.
Stop. It's just, now I will say, like, there is a caveat to this. There's like maybe 3. I know there's the one that's going viral in Florida. Yes. I think it's Key Largo or something like that.
Yeah, Florida has a little offering.
Yeah. But, and then I know there's one in Arizona that's recently been all over TikTok.
Yeah, and there's definitely one in St. Thomas.
And there is one in St. Thomas. I think it's a divvy.
Yep.
But here's the thing. That one in St. Thomas, baby, it's 3-star. So you choose wisely if it means that much.
Absolutely.
And then the one in Arizona and the one in Florida, baby, is high.
They 5-star, 6-star.
So you spending, all right? So make it make sense. Or could you just go to Mexico for $300?
Y'all know we're going to see you in Mexico every single time.
So, I mean, yes, we say there are not any in the USA, but that's because 3 is basically 0.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, again, the options are here to the sky or like close to the ground.
Yeah.
So transition to that. Another thing is 5-star. Just because it's 5-star, may not be the same standard. Yeah. It may not be the same standard as what we consider 5-star. Even those like 4.5 stars, those 4 stars, you know, like you're like, wait, I booked something that was 4 or 5 stars. All inclusives are rated differently.
Yes, they are.
Firstly, you are going to get a higher star rating because you're all inclusive. So the amenities are there. You have the restaurants, you have the bars. It comes with these things.
Precisely.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that the accommodation is going to be a 5-star accommodation or experience, that your room is given 5-star. So definitely be mindful of that when searching all-inclusives, or, you know, when trying to choose an all-inclusive.
Yeah.
The star rating isn't always the determining factor.
It's not. It can be very deceiving. I mean, and honestly, at this juncture, I feel like, are the brands just able to just put their own ratings?
Depending on the brand. Sometimes I do think ratings go with like
within the brand.
Like, because, so if you're,
no shade to Ryu. If you want to sponsor us, we're open to it.
I'm not going to shade Ryu. Oh,
however, when you go,
Ryu sitting at home like, what I got to do with it?
I know. They definitely sitting at home like, these girls mention us every week.
Not me. Y'all know I mess with y'all.
But no, I'm just using y'all as an example. No shade.
Example, yeah.
But when you go to their website, the first thing you see on the front page is 5-star. And we've talked about it in the past where their experiences are different, not good, not bad, just different compared to what you may consider a 5-star in a Maldives.
Absolutely.
And you're at the Ritz-Carlton and it's a thing. So
yeah.
Again.
And that's actually a perfect comparison.
Yes.
Because I don't want to go to the Maldives. It looks boring. It's your girls of 𝗓𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒄𝒂.
Before we jump into today's episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to us on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
And make sure that you're following us on Instagram and TikTok at 𝗓𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒄𝒂.
And of course, if you have a product or service that you'd like to see featured on an upcoming episode of 𝗓𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒄𝒂, shoot us an email at info@𝗓𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒂𝒄𝒂.com.
Now let's get back into the episode.
Fun fact about the Maldives, it kind of is.
It looks boring.
Most people go there and they get pregnant. Like, there's nothing else to do.
Praying for my clients with this upcoming trip.
If you're catching my drift,
yeah,
okay?
It gives that. It definitely gives that.
And just a sidebar fun fact, because we were just talking about this, and I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but like many of the resorts of 5-star standing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous, but they're on their own islands in the Maldives.
Yeah.
So that's why people often say there's not much to do, quote unquote, or that's why you only see your favorite travel influencers in their pools and in
at
the water.
Room, and
because they're stuck on this resort. Technically not stuck. You could ask to leave, but
where are you going? To another resort?
It's much. Yeah. So again, when you don't know, because you wasn't using Travel Guys International, you just be outside, stuck on an island somewhere. But anyway, the 5-star rating, use it or consider it with caution.
Absolutely. Well, specifically with all-inclusive.
Specifically with all-inclusive, yes. Next up is that deep discount, like the sale when you see 65% off all rooms from now till the end of the year. Like, I hate to break it to you, but you're not actually saving any money because, and this is a real thing. I'm a hotelier by background. I've worked in hotels. I know how revenue management works. So when you see the 65% off, what they're doing, actually, you know who also does this? Fashion Nova. So let me break it down a little easier here. When Fashion Nova decides to put everything 50% off, right? You notice that all of it goes back to regular price. So now you're paying 50% off of the regular price. So 2 weeks ago, you would have saw it on sale for 30% off, whatever the case might be. So now you're like, damn, I'm about to get 50% off of the 30%. No, they skyrocketed it back up. You're like, I know that top is not $80.
Well, even beyond the like up and down with the numbers is also like a timeline thing too. It's like if you notice with resorts and with Fashion Nova and brands like that, the marketing is there's always a sale.
Yeah.
And they're trying to use this like catch us now, 65% off. It ends tonight, so you can book this resort. Whereas like tomorrow is going to be 65 off as well. And if not tomorrow, maybe
next
3 days
week,
or whatever, you know. So like even despite the numbers in themselves fluctuating, the sales are kind of like a facade, you know.
They keep coming.
Yeah. So it's like, don't think you're falling for like a sweet period because they're like, hey, cutie, like, here's a little cruise discount. It's like, I was going to get that discount regardless.
Yes.
And or that price. Not even a discount. That's the thing. It's not even a price. Exactly. It's the price.
That's
so,
what we're saying. So it's not necessarily that you're saving 65%.
Yeah. And you was going to get that number.
That's the number we put it at. If we put it a little bit higher and then tell you save 65%, we're still able to collect the amount from you. That is the value that we want.
Exactly.
So that's what they're doing. So, you know, but travel advisors actually have discounts.
Right. We actually do get those, like, you know, 60% off during this time based off of prices. So.
It's real on this side. But if you know, you know. What we got next?
Next up is definitely considering the weather. The seasonality of all-inclusives of the destination really does impact the price.
Yes.
So you have those high seasons, which are, you know, spring break time, where everybody's available, early summer, where everybody's looking to travel, 4th of July, like where everybody's like, oh, I want to be in this type of environment. And then you have those low seasons, which could be a good time to get away.
Right now.
Like
right
now, exactly.
This
Or,
is a
you know,
low
going
season.
into like the winter or, you know, different times of the like cooler seasons here, maybe like a chill season in the destination, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
So knowing what those high seasons and the low seasons are, and how those price points vary.
Yeah. And of course, when we talk about all-inclusives, your mind immediately thinks of the Caribbean, right? That's where most of them are, although there are a bunch of European all-inclusives. Maybe we'll do a second episode on those. Nevertheless, because of the Caribbean being home to many all-inclusives, they also kind of, for the most part, share the low season versus the high season kind of breakdown. So to Jasmine's point, you know, right now we are in low season. So you are seeing better rates, more affordable options for the same experience that you would get for triple or double the price in a few months once we switch into high season, which high season generally goes from late December until mid-April, because now you're getting into your holiday travels, and then you're going through the various holidays of the new year and then through spring break. And then you go back down into the lull because now you're transitioning into rainy season, hurricane season, and so forth. So, I mean, educating yourself on that, it probably sounds like a lot. But it is, if you're trying to maximize the experience or your dollar or both, that is definitely something to consider. The seasonality of your all-inclusives will impact the experience that you have. Next up, same brand or resort name.
Yes.
Does not equal the quality and the consistency or of the quality that you're getting.
Yes. So just because it's a Hilton doesn't mean you're going to get the same experience as the Hilton downtown LA that one time you stayed there. Or just because it's a Ritz-Carlton doesn't mean that you're going to get the same experience as a Ritz-Carlton that you stayed at in France. So I think especially with all-inclusives, because they have so many properties under those like names, there's no way that there can be a level of consistency throughout all of these places because they're so different. The properties change, the size of the properties, the offerings change, the locations change. For example, I think about Catalonia. You have Catalonias that are, firstly, Catalonia is a very reasonable, budget-friendly branch. And then you have those ones that are like the Costa Mujeres property, which was just like named some whatever. They got a dope title award from Forbes in these last few months because the property's gorgeous. We know from experience. However, you may look at other Catalonia properties, and we have stayed at other Catalonia properties that are nothing like that. And it's not that they're bad. They're just not as good. Like, they are just not nearly as good. Like, that is the queen of Catalonia. And of each brand, you're always going to have some that are just like, that's that girl. And that's like her sister.
I can't. But you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. And I've stayed, funny enough, I thought about when you said the Ritz-Carlton, I was like, dang. I did stay at one in outside of Miami, and I stayed at another one out in DC. And I was like, you know, it's not that the service level wasn't consistent, but the overall experience definitely wasn't. And I was like, dang, you expect
the best
from that brand. But another thing, though, too, when I think of brands that are in Mexico versus them having a property in Dominican Republic. There's just something about food in the DR.
And see, that's so interesting you say that because, well, I'll let you finish it though.
Well, mostly I was just going to say I've stayed at the brand and had a good experience in Mexico at the brand. And then in the DR, while the experience of the property was consistent, that food was given DR because the local people are employed by the hotel and they make the food the way they make the food. So the food becomes questionable.
And people say that about Punta Cana and DR, like the resorts, the food just aren't as good in comparison to other destinations. I thought you were going to say that the property was so much better. Because to me, DR, Cap Cana, Punta Cana has a way more like elevated feel than some of the Mexican properties. So that's why I'm like, that's interesting you say that because you're like, The quality of the food was like, which they do say about DR, but then I'm like, also, to me, DR gives more of an elevated feel than some of the properties in Mexico. So just regardless, across the board, it can be consistent in one way and not in the other, or it could just, be inconsistent in different ways.
Yeah. Now I see why people have that, like, we come here every year.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I used to think that was weird, but now I'm
like, you know what to get.
I get it. I really do understand. You know what you can expect.
You know what to expect.
And that's just it. You're spending your money and you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
Yeah. Especially if you have that sweet spot, like we talked about the seasonality. If you know when to go and get a good price, I'm like, I respect it. Go back next year. Same
Keep
price.
It coming.
Next on our list, we have not all-inclusives have beaches.
Yeah.
I think the idea of hearing all-inclusive, you immediately think beachfront, bar on the beach, swim-up pool, swim-up bar, a ton of restaurants. Yeah. And that's not always the case.
Right.
Just because it's all-inclusive doesn't mean that it has a ton of amenities. So you definitely want to know what you want from your property, whether it is restaurant options, bar options, a pool bar. Every all-inclusive resort doesn't have a pool bar.
Right.
So all of them aren't placed on a beach. You may have to go to like a cousin property to use their beach, or you may have to go to a public beach in some instances, depending on the destination. For instance, when we were in Cartagena, a lot of those properties, like the boutique hotel we stayed in, didn't sit on the beach, but you could go to the beach. It was around the corner.
And you made a good point where it's like the public beach access is a thing to circumvent the fact that the property doesn't have a direct beach. And so in some cases, they will have like a complimentary shuttle that'll take you there. But in other cases, they will say, you go down the road, you make a left, and you should be there.
Yep.
So, but the funnier part to that is, but they will advertise a beach.
Yeah, you'll see on their website. Yeah, so, and they'll even have chairs on the beach.
Exactly. So you got to be cautious or just conscientious of your selections, because the website is going to show you the beach, because technically it's down the block, but it's not, you're not walking out of your building and being on the beach. So again, just because you think all inclusive does not mean you're going to have a beach. Do your due diligence, please. Because you're going to be calling your travel advisor, where's the beach? But they sent you the information. You just didn't read it. It's okay. We talked about it last week. Read your stuff. Next up, speaking of having a beach.
Yeah, it's a good one.
There is a difference between ocean view room and ocean front room.
Yes.
Please, just know, please. An ocean view room means there's somewhere in this room that if you peek out, you'll see the ocean.
Mind you, the ocean is huge.
There is, but
the ocean is big. You're going to see the ocean somewhere. But
you can lean over this balcony, lean over now, but you're going to see it.
It's just funny because I have literally been in ocean view rooms and I'm like, y'all got me. I be like, I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. Okay?
You're right. I got a view of it. You're right.
But I also have a view of the top of that building.
I also got a view of the garden. I'm like, not the garden and the ocean view, a collab. Okay.
So they didn't do you wrong.
No.
If you see that ocean. It, okay? But an ocean front room means from side to side, front and back, up and down, you're seeing the ocean.
In front of you.
You're in front of it. You should not have any obstructed views of it because it is front facing. Yeah. Also, those are a lot of the rooms where you would walk right out onto the beach. And the ocean is right in front of you. So when you see those descriptions in the title, do not go down to the front desk saying, where is my ocean view? And they're going to tell you, peek your head over the balcony. It's there. And they're not wrong.
The ocean is out there.
They're not wrong if they tell you that.
It's out there somewhere. But even just thinking about that, I think it's also because, again, people just see ocean. They're like, I got that room. And a lot of the time, it is just ocean view, garden view, and then maybe ocean front might be sold out or be limited. That's because there's only but so many rooms that are going to be able to front face the ocean. So ocean view is catty-cornered around this property as long as it's around the ocean.
Exactly.
Ocean front is maybe just one building. It might be that one building that is facing the beach that literally, like Tosh said, is that property that probably suites with the swim out rooms. Like, those updated things will probably be there. So if you want an oceanfront, you're going to probably pay more. If you want an ocean view, you're going to pay more than a garden view. But if you want to be in front of the ocean, whether it's for content purposes, whether it's for you and your man, whatever you want to do, you're going to have to pay. Yeah, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay.
You're going to have to pay them coins.
You're going to have to pay.
What you weigh.
Yes. I suggest for the balcony stuff to get a garden view anyway.
Touche.
That's just me.
Touche.
Pro tip.
Anyway. Next up. Oh my goodness. All right. Next is keep in mind, you need to make a decision.
Oh, yes. The toughest decision.
You have to make a decision when you're choosing all-inclusives, but even deeper into the type of experience you want. Because you can't really tell me that you're a foodie, but you're also a partier. Because in most cases, those two things don't complement one another at an all-inclusive resort. You either are going to get a very great dining experience or feel, or you're just going to get the
turn up
all day at the party.
Yeah. It's
Jasmine,
very much
am I right?
No, it is very much either or. And it's crazy because I love both.
I know.
But when it comes to the actual accommodation and amenities that they have to offer, like Tosh said, you are going to get those fine dining experiences where you can eat and drink your time away, and those tend to be the properties that you stay on, and you're just like, it's so great here because there's so many different offerings, but those also tend to kind of be more of those R&R type of relationships where you're like, we'll do a spa day and we'll play around with the different classes and different things that they have to offer, in comparison to like a Риu party. Speaking of Риu, a Риu party property where, it's lit.
It's lit all day.
And they don't got time to cook because they actually are outside making sure that you're having a good time. They at the pool, they teaching how to do stuff. They're like, the bartenders are popping and they are investing their time into the party. Like that's where, like the service, the party, like the parties are partying. It's lit. That's where they put their customer service efforts.
And that's fair. And that is fair. And that may be why I lasted one day at Риu property.
Because they go crazy. And they make sure you have a good time at the Риu parties. But again, the food is just like, we're going to make sure you eat so you don't throw up. I'm like, I appreciate that.
Right.
Because y'all know once I start drinking, it don't matter anyway.
Right.
I wasn't going to eat this food. So...
Yeah, but I mean, I just don't think that...
I didn't regret not eating anything on that property. Yes. No meals. I'm like, I wish I would have kept that. I'm sorry.
But then we've had experiences where we're like, dang, I wish I had
I'm like, I wish
this from there.
Right. Like I wish I didn't have a cocktail and I ate more of that pasta. Yeah. Like, exactly. So definitely two different experiences. So you got to know which one you really want to fulfill. I personally say if you're like a party type of person, you can always get good food anywhere. So you can always get good food off resort. And I want to go try restaurants and stuff anyway. So I don't typically choose my all-inclusives based on the food. But if you are looking to, again, R&R stay, you want to eat 3-4 times a day and try all the restaurants, pick you a nice, we'll pick you a nice all-inclusive resort that has those options. Yeah. Like a Oceans in Jamaica type of vibe.
The food was good there. The food was so good. Or a LeBlanc in Cabo.
Yeah.
If you know.
And that's the best of both worlds, actually. Yes. One of the few.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, LeBlanc. We'll see you. See you soon.
Hopefully. I don't know.
What we got next?
Next we have, you want to make sure that you're considering the transfer time when you're thinking about your length of the stay. Y'all know I'm a quick traveler. So for me,
4 days, 3 nights.
3 nights. But those 4 days, 3 nights, you have to think about the departure, what time I'm getting there, what time I'm leaving. So if I'm doing 4 days, 3 nights, all inclusive, I'm trying to get in destination early.
Yes.
To get to the property, because you have to understand that most of these properties aren't on the airport. You got to get a little, maybe 30-minute plus to get to the property. So to consider the time to get from the airport through customs to the airport and to still be able to have a fun day.
Right.
And then capitalize on those next 2 days. And I still want my morning. So I don't want my flight to be too early. Right. I want to get breakfast. I want to get some mimosas. I want to still be able to get to the airport and get through security in time.
Exactly.
Also, when you book transfers, which obviously you're making sure you're booking your transfers ahead, they tell you what time they're picking you up.
Right.
You don't get to say, oh, come pick me up later. So you have to keep that in mind with the trip as well, because they're going to tell you if your flight's at 2, we're coming at 11.
And this is why I book private.
Yes.
Because then I can tell you, you can pick me up at this time. And if I miss it, I miss it, but that was on me. And I still have not missed it because I've gathered how long it takes to really do what we need to do.
Especially when you know how the distance, the transfer time. You're like, okay, this is going to take us 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, keep this hour. I'll be at the pool drinking mimosas.
Exactly, because you want that full time. You want all of your days. So again, if you are like me, short travel, you want to make sure that you're traveling on good times and that those transfers are set up accordingly. Yeah,
I mean, we were pleasantly surprised when we visited Hilton Marcaribe in Cancun. And I mean, I was at least pleasantly surprised because I was like, 10 minutes? The transfer? 10 minutes? So you mean to tell me?
Right to vacation.
I'm going straight to vacation within 10 minutes? So that matters. That really does matter when you're considering your all-inclusive.
Yeah.
And if you have a short trip, you may want to stay at XYZ all-inclusive resort, but it could also be an hour and a half from the airport.
Yes.
So, you know, maybe you save that for your next trip when you got more time. Because
another thing to think about is those schedules with those times, because like when we went to the Rio Santa Fe in Cabo, we literally arrived at the time the pool party started. So if our flight was any later in the day, we would have missed it. So it was like I had to get to Cabo by noon. Like to get to the resort and to make it to the pool by 2:30.
Period. And did.
Yeah, and did. Okay. So you gotta be intentional with that time.
Oh, I love it. Hey, y'all. Hey, we know you're enjoying the episode, but we just wanted to remind you to leave us reviews.
Yes, you guys are always telling us in our DMs, messaging us, letting us know how much you love the podcast. And we're like, we love the feedback, but let's get it on paper.
Please. And of course, if you have suggestions of topics or destinations that you'd like us to cover, shoot us a DM or send us an email.
Yes. Now let's get back into the episode.
Oh, I love it. All right. Last but certainly not least, and this kind of still goes hand in hand with the party goer experience or the Rio experience, if you will, is consider the number of rooms, not even consider, look at the number of rooms that the property has and think about the kind of experience that you desire. Yep. Because, for instance, if the property is 120 rooms and 17 suites, fine. This is like real cute. It's almost boutique-y, but I know I'm going to enjoy myself. It's going to be an intimate environment. If I'm here for R&R, sounds like that's what I'm going to get. But on the flip side of it, if the property is a 600-room mega resort and you got mobility issues or you just don't really care to be on your feet, you got to think about 600 rooms got to go somewhere. Oh, yeah. And that means you're going to either be doing a lot of walking or you're going to be waiting for golf carts to pick you up, to take you across the So, like, all of those things
are something to consider.
Are something to keep in mind when you're choosing your resort.
Now you're just every time you're going to eat, every time you're going to do something, it's frustrating. Thing. And you're like, I'm waiting out here for them to pick me up, and I have to walk. And we walked a lot. Like, the Rio properties are huge. And if you know Rio, you know they're often connected to other Rio properties. So they tend to be even bigger. And they have like connecting restaurants so you might have to be in building 1, but have to go to building 10 because that's where the restaurants connect to the next resort. Yeah, that is very, very true. Something to consider, because the more rooms, the larger the property is. Them carts, sometimes buses like Barcelo. Yep. Like, and you just might not have the capacity to be doing all that. You're like, I don't want to catch the bus to the beach. I just want to walk to the beach. Yeah. So you should scale back and let's go to a little 150 where, you know, you go down and you're in the lobby. The lobby bar connects you right through to the bar. The bar connects to that restaurant. Then you got the beach bar right in front. It all is like fluid. But yeah, most all inclusive properties are not like that.
Yeah.
They are not easy.
I enjoyed again when we were at 𝗬𝒂𝒗𝒆𝒍 because it was kind of
it was very digestible.
Intimate, digestible, but like it still felt like there's things to do. It had a healthy balance.
Yes, that's a good. I wouldn't even say mid-size, like mid-size. I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, like that's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
And I don't think a lot of people think about it.
Yeah, that's a really big.
So that's why we had to talk about it today. All right, most important tip, Jazz, for people to consider when booking their all-inclusives, even if it's not on the list.
I'm gonna go the brand consistency because I do think a lot of try to commit to a brand, and I love that, like loyalty. I am not like a loyal person when it comes to travel because I do what works best for me. Whatever flight's the most reasonable, has the most offerings, whatever, resort aligns with the type of trip that I'm trying to experience. But I understand people being, loyal to a hotel brand, whether it's because of points and that type of membership relationship, or if it's just because you know what you're getting and what to expect. But I do say make sure that you do your research if you're that person. But just because you're loyal to them here or, in different destinations doesn't mean that this is going to be consistent. You might have had one experience at one all-inclusive in Jamaica and you're like, oh, yeah, that's the one.
Right.
And then you might go to that same brand in Punta Cana and you're like, I want my money back. Now you're talking to a manager and you're like, I'm a member and I got platinum status. And they're like, girl, I do not care. Like, the chef is the chef. Like, the drinks are the drinks. Like, we definitely did roll out the red carpet for you. So I do think it's important.
I feel seen.
Listen, I understand. I do. I get it. But they ain't got it for you.
I feel you. Mine would be that 5-star is not or may not be what we consider 5-star in the USA.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had that happen to a client. Not my advisement. They went against my advisement, but I am a travel advisor, but they still went against it. And, they had to have an all-inclusive. They had to have it.
Yeah.
And in this particular destination, I know that you don't have to have it at here. This is St. Martin. It was St. Martin. And I'm like, all right. And they get there, and we've talked about it before.
That property I stayed at, they hated it.
Yeah, we talked about it before. They got a very handful of all-inclusives in St. Martin.
And only one is good.
And they just not going to give what it's supposed to give. So they told me, like, he's on the phone with me, like, it's no way this is a 5-star. And he's like, they got to have paid these people for reviews online. And I'm like, I'm never going to say I told you so, but
I told you so.
I tried to anyway. So yeah, that's a really big thing.
Yeah. And that's also a loyalty thing because I'm sure he probably saw the name and was like, this is going to be great.
Exactly.
And it's like, yeah, well, I thought so too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's important because especially all inclusive, they try to get you with them stars.
But you gotta think, who made this star rating?
It got food and drinks. People be drunk when they're doing those rates.
Right. Because you're right. You do have to have
you get all of your money's worth.
Star rating. That's another thing. Star rating also is calculated by the amenities that you offer. So like a 4-star property means it at least has a restaurant on site.
Exactly.
3 stars do not, but they may have breakfast available.
Exactly.
So yes, your star rating, thank you for saying that, Jasmine. It does.
They have so much.
Your amenities are calculated in your rating.
On top of having excursions, like little non-motorized, once they add all those things up, it gives 5 stars.
It's technically.
However, we know. If you know, you know.
Yes. Well, if you know, you know. But if you didn't know, now you know today. Jasmine and I are both a part of Travel Goddess International, which is a full-service travel agency that can assist with bringing your next all-inclusive vacation experience to life.
Period. So whether we're doing all-inclusive, Mexico, Jamaica, wherever you're going, we're going to get you there. Visit travelgoddessintl.com, and we got you set.
All right, guys. Now that we've got that all-inclusive talk out of the way, hopefully y'all feel more prepared. And it's time for the travel deal of the week. Now, if you was waiting for it to be an all-inclusive, I'm sorry about the break.
I was like,
break your heart.
She surprised me, but it's good. It's good. It's good.
And it
great.
was, y'all. I really was trying, but this one, I was like, we got it.
Can't not talk about this. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, here it goes. All right. Travel deal of the week. Not Ricky ready. He ready on his phone, ready to pull up the website.
It's a good one.
The travel deal of the week is a 4-day, 3-night trip to Las Vegas. But wait, there's more. Mid-December, Tuesday to Friday, with round-trip flights nonstop via Spirit Airlines from PHL and 4-star hotel accommodations at the Sahara Las Vegas. Y'all know
that gives 5-star. If we talking star ratings.
The hotel, because it got all the amenities. I'm just saying.
Everything, and it's gorgeous.
Got the casino, too. Child, all of that. 4 days, 3 nights, nonstop flights, 4-star hotel accommodations.
On the strip.
On the strip. And it went down today. So I'm actually about to give y'all the actual price. $133 per person.
That's not even what I saw. Oh.
No, it went down this morning when I looked at it.
That's a good one.
And I'm like, I know. I'm like, I wanted to do an all-inclusive, but then I'm like, oh, we did Vegas before. But I was like, $133?
Might be booking that today. Don't know.
Because I literally haven't even been to Vegas all year. And I'm like, I've been wanting to go.
Yeah, it's really good.
This is like the middle of December.
To go to Vegas.
Where it's like, it's not too hot. It's not too cold. $133. Who cares what it is? It could be like, I don't care. It's $133.
We done been places that been pouring down
at
raining.
Lunch or dinner today. What? Yeah.
I probably already spent that today.
Exactly. Exactly.
What time is it?
Right. So your whole vacation, you mean to tell me?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good.
$133, y'all, for your flight and your hotel stay. And the room is like 2 double beds, so you can literally pay $130 and then take your friend and they pay $133.
That room is so pretty. I love that hotel.
I digress.
That hotel is so good.
Y'all already know this is an exclusive travel deal, so a premium membership is required. Visit the website.
Come on, $9.
For the $9 a month.
Would that make it $140 in total? $145?
What?
$145 in total.
You can't beat it. Please, I challenge you, please.
And that includes taxes and fees because we got to include everything now.
Listen, we got to be transparent. Like, because California said we got to be transparent. And y'all know California is basically its own country now at this point.
So we just got to do what everybody says.
Okay, but y'all, visit the website.
That's so good.
Browse the deal. I can't make this
TFS trip, come on.
Somebody say something. I'm ready. With my card.
Y'all gonna meet us there?
Get my card. I'm ready.
That's really good.
Child, and we already know they got brunch in Las Vegas because you put it in your Vegas itinerary, which y'all need to also look. We got y'all set up. Anyway,
bundle deal. We're gonna drop that with the Las Vegas.
Bam! It's time to get brunchy.
Dang, I would have did Vegas.
It's all good.
That's cool though. We'll think of more Vegas brunches. But this week's Brunch Abroad, we're actually going to the last brunch that Ricky went to. And this is Cafe El Tapatio in Chicago.
Love Chicago.
What area was it in, Ricky? Northern Chicago. Okay. And he said it was an authentic Mexican brunch, which we love. Not me so much, but
Jasmine in her non-love of Mexican food always blows my mind.
I do like a Mexican brunch experience, but yeah, whatever. We actually went to a Mexican restaurant the other day for a travel event, and I'm like, no, thank you to like all the food. Like, you want this? I'm like, no, thank you. It's okay. Margarita?
Yes.
2. Anyway, back to Cafe El Tapatio in Chicago. $24 bottomless mimosas.
Yes.
So we love a good bottomless experience. We also love Chicago and the food in Chicago. So this probably is actually really good Mexican food, despite me not loving Mexican food. So yeah, add that to your brunch list.
$24 bottomless is really good.
Yeah, that's a good John.
Like, really, really good. Is it bottomless margs or just mimosas?
Just mimosas? Oh, he said $7 marks.
Okay.
$7 marks, $24. We getting lit.
Period.
Okay.
Chi-town. Period.
Yeah, I
Jasmine
love Chicago.
also has a Chicago itinerary. Just click the link in the show notes to browse the whole library of travel guides.
If you're looking for brunch and things to do,
because we got you.
Come on.
Like, this is a one-stop shop.
Literally.
We're going to book the all-inclusive. We're going to give you the guide. And we're going to give it to you for the low. And then you get personalized service. What are we waiting for?
And we might do a Vegas meetup if I can convince Taj to let y'all come.
Great. You see how she just put it on me? It's really me, Jasmine. I just want y'all to know. Last but not least, question of the day. Question of the day, Jasmine. How do you show up to the airport? Like, are you bringing blankets and pillows and all the extras for the comfortable flight experience? Or are you just showing up to the airport and come whatever may?
Yeah, no. I don't got time for none of that. Y'all know I don't even be wanting to pay for my bag. So I think it's so cute when my friends have like blankets and pillows and stuff. I'm like, girl, I don't even sleep on the plane.
I know.
Like, it do be chilly though. So I tend to wear long sleeves and I try to wear like long pants depending on the season because I do be cold, but I'm not carrying no blanket. That's absurd. I have no room for that. I hardly have room for the things that I need right now. So no blanket, no pillow. Sometimes I don't even bring my travel pillow because I'm like, I don't got room for any of this. I don't like being overwhelmed when I'm traveling through the airport.
I know you don't. I know. It was just a good question.
That's a great question, though, because I know people be having blankets and everything.
Literally. And you know.
You going to a sleepover or are you going on vacation?
Seriously.
Where are you going?
Seriously. Seriously. Equipped with the bonnet. I've seen you.
Literally, I wasn't not even trying to be shady, but I was going to say it usually does come with a bonnet or scarf.
Yeah, I'm the same sentiments of you. Yeah. It's like if the flight is going to require the blanket, then typically they're probably going to have the blanket on the seat.
Absolutely.
Meaning it's an overnight transatlantic situation. They're going to have a blanket and a pillow for me.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I'm talking, I've seen the full-blown house pillows in the airport.
Me too.
Come on. Is it that deep?
Yeah, no.
I get it. Comfort may be important, but that's just a lot.
People travel very interestingly.
I know. That's why I wanted to ask this question.
I also saw somebody putting like plastic bags full of stuff in the overhead. And I'm like, you went to the grocery store before you came here? I'm just like, what? People travel very interestingly.
They do. I saw somebody
like, where are you coming from?
I'm sorry. Because this might be you listening, and I'm sorry. But bro, I saw somebody like they just had the Target shopping
just
bag.
Yeah. I'm like,
and I was like, what's in it? My toiletries.
And I'm like, did you check a bag or is it just that? Like, I don't know.
Whatever. It wasn't even like, oh, I just purchased these in the airport or on my way to the.
No, this is where I bought it from my house.
You packed this from your house. You took this out of the Black House. Extra, what do they call it? Extra bag drawer.
Oh yeah, mine's
the shopping
under
bag
my sink.
drawer. Exactly. You took it out of there and intentionally put your toiletries in it, and that's your. Oh,
do all Black people got a bag drawer?
Yes.
That's the real question of the day.
That's the real question of the day. Drop it in the comments and let us know. And of course, if you want to tell us how you travel, that's a bonus. But for real, do you have?
We know you're not bringing blankets, so where them bags
Where
at?
the bags at? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the episode on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at 𝗲𝗏𝒊𝒂𝒂𝒄. Like, comment, share. We love the engagement.
We love the engagement.
Yes.
And of course, if you have a product or a service, a restaurant, whatever the case might be, and you like TFS to showcase your stuff, send us an email, info@𝗲𝗏𝒊𝒂𝒂𝒄.com.
Also, if you have like a media outlet and you want us to come talk on your platform, which we've been getting some recent inquiries about, you can also email us at info@𝗲𝗏𝒊𝒂𝒂𝒄.com and we'll schedule some time to pull up on you.
Pull up on ya.
I knew she was going to do that. Also, leave reviews. We love feedback. Y'all always like, oh yeah, we listen to the podcast, and then someone like they'll DM us or y'all say it to us in person. We're like, we'd love the feedback. Please put that on paper,
please, and thank you.
If you can take all those nice thoughts and just like put them on Apple or wherever you listen, that would be appreciated.
Very much so, guys. And thank you so much for all the support, all the listening. What is this, episode 73? Lots of fun stuff in the works for you guys, so stay tuned. But we really literally love it here, and we're just super excited to keep this going.
Clearly you do too, because you still here.
I think that's our episode. Until next time, you guys. Bye.